everybody, welcome back. I wanted to do a video today about the coolest, the funniest boss I ever had. And this was back when I was a chef. This was like 15 years ago. I was a sous chef at a seafood restaurant slash steakhouse. And this guy, Jerry, who was my boss, a good friend of mine, who's now passed away, he was the executive chef. And he seemed really cool when he interviewed me. And yeah, I loved the whole 2 years that I worked for him. But from like the first day I worked with him, I was like, oh man, this guy's gonna be so cool. I'm gonna love working with this guy as long as I work here. And you know, in a way, it was funny in a way. It would have been better if there was more. He really he was burned out in the business. He was 52. He had started in the business back when he was 16 or 17. So he had been in the business for over 30 years. He was so burned out, and after 10 years as being a chef, I got burned out. So he must have really been, over it, totally over it. And he had really, the wait staff. A lot of times, these weren't like new waitresses. They had been in the business for many years too. Had been working at the specific restaurant for many years. So it was like there's no reason that they should have been asking the questions they were asking, making the mistakes that they were making. And he had a lot of, we had really picky customers. He had a lot of issues with the customers too, but yeah, it was like a constant war. Like this chef Jerry, he loved me and the rest of us, the cooks in the kitchen, the dishwashers, but he was so against. And the general manager was not a very pleasant person to work for, neither were the owners. And there were some nice people on the wait staff, and most people on the wait staff were a pain in the ass. So yeah, it was a constant war, especially on the weekends, on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays when it was real busy. So I'm just going to jump right into it here. So I think when I first started working there, I cooked a steak for this guy. He ordered it medium, and it was served medium. He said it wasn't done enough. It was like every way was green. It was like a perfect medium. So I just cooked a little more, and then he said it was too well done. I don't know what the heck the guy wanted. I think he was just trying to scam a free meal. And then the chef guy, this is like my first week in there, and the chef was so pissed at this customer. He's like, oh my God, I tell you, only in America. And every Sunday we had roast specials. We always had roasted leg of lamb, and I think we rotated every other week. Like we had a lamb every Sunday, and then we would either have roast beef or ham. So this one Sunday we had roasted leg of lamb, and this one customer, I guess had never had lamb before, so she wanted like a slice of lamb cut. She's like, I've never had it before. I'd like to try it out. So then Jerry was telling this waiter, he's like, find out where this lady works. Like, I want to go into wherever she works, get some free shit. He kind of looked at him first like, what do you mean? He's like, oh, I want to see where she works, see what kind of product she sells. I want to get some of her free shit. And he's making a joke about it. Oh, I've never had premium gasoline in my car before. Give me like a couple gallons for free. I'd like to try it out to see if I like it or not. And we had 3 soups. So we had a soup of the day, and we always had French onion and also New England clam chowder. And we had these like 3 soup kettles back in the kitchen, and the wait staff, they would get hungry. They'd always be eating the soup, and a lot of times we knew we weren't getting that many customers. We could have gone through the soup that fast just because of the customers. So Jerry would always be yelling, like a waitress when the soup would get low, we'd have to heat more soup up. And usually a waitress would be like, we need more soup, and Jerry would just lose his patience all the time. He'd be like, stop fucking eating it. We haven't been doing that many customers. There's no way we went through that much that fast. You guys had to have been eating it. It was like I said, it was a constant war. And there was one day that we didn't have any half and half. We ran out of it, but yet we had regular milk and we had heavy whipping cream. And this waitress had been there for like 20 years. She wasn't new to the business. She was probably about Jerry's age too, in her 50s. And then she said, we don't have any half and half. What are we going to do? And he's like, well, do you have milk? Yeah. Do we have heavy whipping cream? Yeah. Okay. So how do you make half and half? Half milk, half whipping cream. He was like, duh. How do you not know this? We've been in business for so long. Not rocket science. And the owner, he was really picky. He was starting to get senile. He was like in his early 80s. We had a fish fry every Friday night And yeah, for years, it was really old school. The menu had been the same for many, many years, never changed. So, it was towards the, I worked there for 2 years. This is like towards the end of my time working there, and we always did the fish fry the same when I was there. So this owner comes in one day, and he says, "Oh, the fish fry. What are you doing different with it? It just doesn't taste the same as it used to. It's just not the same. What are you doing different with it?" And the chef Jerry said, "Oh, nothing." He said, "It's the same oil, the same fryer, the same cook, the same fish, the same batter recipe." And the GM should have kept his mouth shut, but we always ran water on the fish. We only served this fish on Fridays once a week, so we would pull it out of the fridge, but sometimes it still wouldn't be defrosted, so we'd keep it in a plastic wrapping. We wouldn't run the water directly on the flesh of the fish, but we'd run it over the bag, cold water. It wasn't losing any flavor. And the GM opened his big fat mouth. He said, "Oh, well, the only thing I could think they're doing different is they're throwing water on it." So then the owner was like chewing the chef's ass out. He's like, "See, goddamn it, I told you, you're changing it. And then the chef Jerry made a joke. He said, "Oh man," he's like, "he's probably going down and eating out his wife's nasty old vag. That's probably what he thinks that real fish is supposed to taste like." Oh, and then we had a gift shop there too, like a souvenir shop. And the owner's wife, there was like she was like 25 years younger than him. He was like 80, she was like 55, and she used to be a waitress there. He probably just married him for the money. And when his first wife died, she would always ask to. Yeah, he would come up there, he was lonely, and she would always, I think she was just a gold digger. She would always ask to take his table and take care of him, and she ended up marrying him. And then once he passed away, I don't know how much money she got from him, how much he left her, but whatever, I don't know what she got, but yeah, she didn't want to have anything to do with the restaurant. After he passed, she just took off and moved out of state. But she worked in the gift shop. I don't know if it was all the time or if it was just every once in a while to oversee it, but yeah, she worked in the gift shop, and we had like this little bar lounge which was past the gift shop, and every time like somebody had lobster, she was always like freaking out. Lobster can be strong smelling even if it's fresh, but she was always claiming that the lobster smelled awfully fishy. She thought that we were serving spoiled lobsters. And the chef's like, "Oh man, I don't know if she's on her period and she's smelling herself. Like this went on for so many times. Like she needs to get her nose checked." And he actually wrote like a note to the owner or something like that. It said like, "Yeah, there's nothing wrong with lobsters. The only thing that's wrong is your wife's sense of smell." And she was claiming, yeah, like they said, that those lobsters are spoiled. So the GM got pissed off, and he's like, "Hey, you guys, sir, are those lobsters okay? Are those lobsters spoiled that you just served?" And then I showed them to the GM, like these were just fresh that day. I mean, they were frozen lobster tails, but I defrosted them and served them fresh that day. And I said, "No, look, they're fresh, they look fresh, they smell fresh." "Oh, all right." And there was, I think it was either Easter or Mother's Day. We were so burned out. We served like 700 or 800 people, and we served dinner from like, 8 o'clock, lunch, from like 11 o'clock in the morning until 7 or 8 o'clock at night. And these people came in like 5 minutes after 8. This waitress was trying to serve them, and chef's like, "No, tell them they have to leave. The kitchen's closed. We're done. We're shutting down." And he's like, "What do you want me to do? Shit into a bowl for them? The kitchen's closed." And it was duck is all dark meat. And this woman, her and her husband, I wasn't there that day, but they ordered duck, and she was going to give her husband the dark meat, and she was going to take the white meat, which doesn't make any sense. She thought it was like chicken or like turkey, if there was white meat and dark meat, and she didn't believe it. She told, the chef Jerry told the waitress, like, "Tell her that duck is all dark meat, there's no white meat on there." And he took another duck from the kitchen, he broke it down for her, the breast, the drumsticks, everything, cut it up into like 8 pieces, and he actually like made like incisions, cutting into the meat to show her that was like all dark meat, and told me all he was just flaming about it. He told me all about it the next day. He's like, "My God," he's like, "our customers, I tell you, they act like they come in here acting like they know it all. They don't know jack shit." And we had this one she was like the head waitress for the banquets. She acted, another one acted like she knew it all. She didn't know shit. She didn't know her ass from a hole in the ground. She acted like she was a chef so much. She didn't, she'd go, isn't this soup too thin? Isn't it supposed to be thicker? It's like, you're not a chef, you're a waitress. Get the hell out of here with that. And the ice cream for the banquets was supposed to be pulled out like maybe half an hour, 45 minutes beforehand, so it'd be easier to scoop. And she forgot to pull the ice cream out of the freezer, and so it was hard. And she was asking, Jerry was like, he's like, I got my own shit to do. That's your problem. It's not my fault. That's your problem. I got enough of my work to do in my own kitchen. And yeah, she was pissed that he was refusing to help her scoop the ice cream. He's basically, yeah, fuck you. That's your problem. And she complained to the GM that she was real tight with, and then the GM, he chewed Jerry's ass out. It was a big mess. They were going like back and forth, and he's basically saying, it's not my responsibility. It was her fault that she forgot to pull the ice cream out of the freezer. And one day he lost it. He didn't say it to her face, but I don't prefer to use the word myself. Pretty nasty word. Especially would never call, even if I were to talk behind a woman's back, I would never call a woman this word, but I'm not even going to say it. But yeah, I'm sure you all know, he was talking to somebody else about her. He actually called her the 4-letter C word. I'm not going to say, that's a very obnoxious word, so I'm not going to use that. And this waitress, Wendy, we got like 2 cooks fired. These guys that's why you don't ever even flirt with somebody at work, do sexual innuendo, because you never know what could happen. These guys, I think, were just flirting with her. One daughter worked there as a waitress, and I think they were just flirting with her in a friendly way, and she got them both fired, and he was so pissed off. He's like, yeah, she got 2 of my cooks fired. I wish I could figure out a way to get her sorry ass fired. And one day he was so pissed, I think it was Thanksgiving, and it was another long day, and he was just like fuming about her. He's like, oh man, I can't wait to get the fuck out of here and not have to see her face again for a few days. He's like, I definitely won't have to hear her or look at her for another few days. Like, I definitely don't come in here to see her ugly ass. And there was a waitress, and all the waitresses had like pagers on them, so their food's up. If they didn't pick it up right away, we would page them. They're supposed to, I don't know if they were supposed to hear it, I think they were supposed to feel a buzz. But he'd always be pounding, he would get so pissed off if he had to repeatedly page them over and over again. I think twice was fine, but by the 3rd time he got pissed, but he would be yelling out. He's like, come on, Kristen, 3 times, and this one waitress one day said, like, I didn't feel it go off. He's like, yeah, well, put it in a spot where you'll feel it, referring to you should put it near your crotch area. Maybe you'll feel the vibration there. One waitress, he joked around with her. He's like, I could get away saying that to her. I probably couldn't get away with saying it to a lot of the others of them. Let's see. And there was another woman, customer. She came in at the last minute. We closed at like 8 o'clock on a Sunday. She came in 7:50, like 10 minutes before we were about to close, and wanted to do a special order, something that was really complicated. And Jerry refused to do it for her. He said, no, fuck her. And we're not doing it. He's like, she wants that. You tell her to get here, 6 o'clock at the latest. Not to come in at 8, 10 minutes before I close and say, make me something special. Fuck her, And he told that to the waitress, like, okay, I'll tell her. And the waitress told the customer, and she was really pissed off about it. I guess she was like pounding her fist down on the table, and she goes, I'm going to call your owner. I'm going to complain. He's like, good, let her call. Let her complain. And then there was this other waitress, Kristen, that none of us really liked. The chef didn't like, as she picked up a really heavy tray. She looked like she was about ready to drop it. And it was a really busy, frustrating day. He's like, don't drop it. He's like, you drop it, clock out, and go home. Like, don't even bother coming back to complain. He's like, yeah, you drop it. He's like, just clock out and go home. Don't even bother coming back here. And then there was one day the GM, his son, I guess, got kicked by a car. He lived on the main road. He obviously wasn't watching his 6-year-old kid. I guess his kid got hit by a car. And he must have been pretty close to the road, because the guy wasn't off the road. He was driving on the road, but I guess his ear just got hit by like the side mirror or something like that, and the owner, the GM heard about it. I guess he was like kicking I wasn't there that day, but he was like kicking his office door in. He had a real hot temper, and the chef Jerry, he's like, oh man, he's like, he must have forgotten to take his medication today. And one time, the chef Jerry was on vacation, and I was in charge. I was basically the head chef when he was away. So he came back from his 1 week vacation. He said, oh, how did everything go? I said, oh, yeah, just fine. No problems. Nothing out of the ordinary. Just the usual. He's like, good. But he's like, you know what, Jeff? To tell you the truth, even if things didn't go good, didn't go well, he's like, I really wouldn't have given a shit. He's like, I think he said, like, yeah, the last day of my vacation, I was swimming in a pool. I was thinking, oh, I wonder how Jeff's doing. But you know what? He's like, fuck it. I'm on vacation. I really don't care about it. I'm like, yeah, if I were you, I wouldn't either. But yeah, everything went well. And the banquet manager one day was going over, the banquet coordinator, she was going over a banquet schedule like a couple weeks in advance, and Jerry was like, shit. He's like, I don't give a shit. He's like, 2 weeks from now? He's like, I might be dead by then. And he was talking about one time, like, all this environmental worry, like, a shortage of water, eventually running out of water, global warming, all this shit, climate change. Like, it was something about 100 years down the road. That shit, 100 years from now, who gives a shit? I'm going to be dead. I don't give a shit what's going to go on here 100 years from now. I was like, fuck it, screw it. One day he was having a real rough day, and then he was fuming. His temper was flaring. And he's like, oh man, he's like, still 15 more years, I gotta do this fucking shit. He was like 52 at the time, looking to retire, and maximum retirement when he's 67. And I was like, I felt his pain. I definitely thought I was 24 at the time, and wasn't laughing at him, but I still found it humorous that he was fuming like that. And he's like, you know what, Jeff? He's like, I wouldn't laugh if I were you. He's like, what are you, like 24, right? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, if I were you, I wouldn't laugh. He's like, you still, you probably have like at least 43 years to go. He's like, maybe more. Who knows if they'll raise the retirement age? Who knows if there'll be any Social Security left? I'm like, yeah, you definitely got a point there. And there was this one guy, Aaron, he always we had like a dill crusted salmon. We got fresh fish in on Thursday, and when he worked on Thursday, he would always want like a fresh. He would eat the sushi. He would eat the salmon raw, and I didn't have it cooked. And he used to wash the dill crust off, or if it was already on there, or I think he used to have us like set aside a plain piece of salmon for him before we put the dill crust on there. And he's like, hey Jeff, you got the salmon for me? Is it fresh? They come in fresh today? I'm like, oh yeah, we got a piece for you. And then the Chef Jerry one day, he's like, oh yeah, give him one for a fuck. Save the fresh salmon for the customers. Like, give him one of the rotten, smelly ones. Oh. And there was one day he was talking about the employee meals, about how they were complaining. I guess it was such bullshit. He's like, oh, like I'm here for them. We got there like 1 or 1:30 and we didn't eat. And this was like 4 o'clock. The wait staff, they were just getting there, and we had an employee meal ready for them as soon as they got there. And I think what was it? There was one day that I said like, oh man, I wish I could stop. A waitress overheard me, and I said like, oh, I wish I could stop feeding them all together. And she's like, oh, what? You want us to starve? Like, what the fuck? Like, I've been here since 1:30. You guys just come here and you expect to eat already? And Jerry, the chef, said something like, yeah, like, what the hell? You think I'm here for you? I'm here for the customers. I'm not here for you. And there was, the GM was always causing trouble. And this one nobody really cared for this GM, but this one bartender was questioning the chef about him. He's like, what the hell is his problem? All he does is cause trouble. And then the chef Jerry's like, yep, that's what GMs get paid for, Ron. They get paid to cause trouble. And this one waitress, Holly, she was, really wasn't too bright. She was a typical, she looked like a Barbie, a typical blonde. And she said something like, oh, I'd like to have a side of garlic mashed, or I'd like to have a side of mashed potatoes. Make sure you give me the garlic mashed. And the chef's like, well, what are you talking about? What do you mean, make sure they're garlic mashed? That's all we have. The only kind of mashed potatoes we have are garlic mashed potatoes. And she had been working there for like 6 or 7 months. Oh, I didn't know that, you know. And she walked out of the kitchen, and chef is talking to me, you know, Jerry's talking to me. He's like, God, he's like, man, my God. He's like, what the hell? He said something like, oh, she seems like a blonde bimbo that should be in a fucking porno film. So, yeah, those are all the funny stories I have about my old friend, my old boss, Jerry. So, hope you enjoyed the video. Please comment, like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you all real soon with another interesting video. Have a great week, my friends, and stay safe. Talk to you all later real soon. Bye.